Cannibal Content. Why are we eating other content creators instead of focusing on your recipe? Coming up on BTS Raw Chats.
This is BTS Raw Chats. BTS Raw Chats. Where real media creators chat after hours. We don't give away raw files. We give you the raw, behind-the-scenes chatter of the photo and video production world. The Raw Chat starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I explain everything of exactly what the hell I'm talking about eating each other, let me tell you a little bit about what this show is all about. We are real media creators talking about what really happens within the production industry. We want this show to help others out there learn how to deal with the day-to-day things of what really happens behind the scenes. So, content creators eating other content creators. What exactly do I mean by that? Sherry? I have no idea, but I'm terrified right now.
No comment.
By the way, special guest in the room right now, Sherry.
Hello.
And if you don't know who I am, I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Also known as Indie Craze. From the reaction of Watch with Everyone, and also all elite watchers. But besides that, today we're going to be talking about why exactly are content creators eating other content creators. Okay, what do I mean by that? You ever seen those ads that say, hey, you want to become a full-time filmmaker? For the low price of $800, you could have all of my life's work. Yay!
All the top tips, tricks, secrets, everything.
Exactly. And then you click on another video, and then all of a sudden, tired of working 9 to 5? Become a content creator where you could have over $200,000 a year, and you could make it and have your life changed forever. I'm Ty Turner.
Right. That's not true. That's why I'm sitting on the floor right now. You too can be a content creator.
You too can be a content creator and sit on the floor and have a podcast right now. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is I am not, let me get this straight. I am not knocking getting a buck off of educating other people out there. What I'm trying to say is I see this trend happening where it's an infestation of content creators creating content for other content creators instead of content creators basically teaching you how to focus on the niche that you want to focus on. Instead, we have content creators making money off of other content creators that are giving good tips and tricks, but you have to pay for the real good stuff. So like they give you a little hit and then they pull you in, and then all of a sudden like, I want to buy this and that. That's great. I'm not knocking that. The problem is what I'm knocking out is the oversaturation, because what's going to eventually happen is the market is going to shift. The pricing of competing against the full-time filmmaker versus the Flash Academy platform, that's going to change, and it's going to affect everybody's pocketbook, especially the content creator targeting the other content creators. That whole $100,000 or $200,000 a year, that's going to change exponentially, because that other content creator that you just taught is creating content just like yours, but with a little different spin on it. And for $100 a year, you can have the same content as the full-time filmmaker at $800.
Yeah.
So of course, people are gonna go gravitate towards the $100, and then all of a sudden, poor old full-time filmmaker, which has been in business for years, they have to compete with so many other things. And if you notice, especially with full-time filmmakers, not knocking on full-time filmmaker, because I am a full-time filmmaker member, I've just noticed this trend. And trust me, I've been through the University of Online. I'm grateful for having those services because you don't need going to film school for this. Everything is online now. And what's great is it's like, you're not spending $200,000 on schooling. You just spend $200,000 on online content.
I disagree a little bit with that because I like school for the fact that they lay down the foundation. Mm-hmm. Everything else after that is on you to learn. So like if you're trolling through YouTube or whatever looking stuff to really learn how to do stuff, but I mean as far as like the foundation for some people, I mean not everybody. So I think there is a benefit still going to school.
Absolutely.
But then everything else is just kind of learned. You just have to do to learn. You can't just...
The hard part is like you're going to constantly pay for the schooling until you get out there and actually see what we're talking about.
Right, like I'm have so much debt.
Yeah.
From student loans, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm accumulating more.
Yeah. Yeah. When is the thing going to turn a profit? What are we doing that is so like not the format that they're following that they're succeeding at?
I don't know. My recipe is all
Mine is too.
It's a recipe for disaster.
The recipe for disaster.
Zottalo, I have missed one.
But my point is that when is the bleeding going to stop? Should we stop creating services for our niche and just focus on the content creator? The whole reason why we developed this show, BTS Raw Chats, is because we wanted to help medium-sized to professional-sized person out there that wants to get into the industry and just finding out how to get out of like different things. We just share our crap.
I can't. The only thing I'm thinking is that, okay, I thought I found my niche. And I'm in the studio. And I'm sitting here and it's empty. I'm literally sitting on the floor with the microphone.
But the thing is that in this scenario, you're trying. And that's my point. It's like we've been trying for years to get a living doing what we love to do. And then it gets frustrating. It's like just dealing with the day-to-day bull crap.
Like, I'm all out of recipes.
I'm all out of love. And lawsuit.
FBI, open up!
When is the bleeding going to stop? Should we focus on creating content or buying that course building content? Because that's what
But we
full-time...
did.
Yeah?
Because I piggyback off of yours.
Yeah. Sorry, full-time filmmaker, and also FlashFilm Academy.
And don't forget my favorite, Creative Live.
Yes, Creative Live. Yes. It all started with lynda.com. Remember
True. Yeah.
lynda.com and like all the media stuff. Now that LinkedIn bought lynda.com, it's like we don't even remember lynda.com anymore.
That's like super old school.
Probably half of the audience, which is Michael, doesn't even know about lynda.com, but that was the OG of training content as far as the digital stuff goes. But
and it was boring.
Oh yeah, it was boring.
God.
And now all of a sudden it's evolved to Masterclass with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and all these people. Like, I know that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas is not doing a Masterclass.
That would be a good one.
But Martin Scorsese is
that's
on
right,
Masterclass.
Yeah.
But my point is that there is a market for training, but when is the limit there? Because I have had a Masterclass and I wasn't really impressed with it because it was more... it didn't teach me
They're
anything.
more.
They were just
They're telling their stories.
They
and,
were
like,
gloating,
exactly.
on what they did and all that stuff. It's like, look at what a $4 million set looks that you'll never, you know what I'm saying? You'll never get,
Right,
you know?
and they're like going on about all of their accomplishments, and this is, it's just about them. It's not a platform to really learn anything as far as training goes.
Not knocking on Masterclass, but there's some little hidden gems. But it almost reminds me of the days of the DVD bonuses. You know what I'm saying? Like the behind the scenes DVDs.
Yeah.
Like I'm paying $100 a class for DVD bonuses. Like, where did this go wrong? You know what I mean? That's what you're paying $100 for now for Masterclass in a nutshell. The only difference is it's more high class. It's almost like the Rolls Royce of training videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to inspire to be that, but that's all I'm trying to get that. That's it, folks. Thank
you.
Thank you.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Those platforms are supposed to be a stepping stone to get you to what you need to be, and is focusing on your niche. One of the biggest people, and I could give him credit on this, is Ty Turner. He is a full-time filmmaker, but also he is providing content, for people like us that are in the industry. He gives a lot of value just doing his live streams alone, and I think I have purchased all 3 of his modules, and they're basically, in my opinion, no offense if Ty is listening to this, they kind of are poorly done. It's just him in his office with his camera talking about his day-to-day stuff. Show me some B-roll stuff. Show me the behind the scenes. Show me something, Ty. I didn't purchase a $300 per module thing just to have him have a talking head for 6 or 7 or 8 hours.
That's why I like Peter McKinnon, because he's entertaining and he's got a lot of he puts some thought into it.
But some of his content is free, right?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Yeah. He put all this time and effort and work. Now his spin is he has products. They need to have incentives. I understand that, because you cannot continue to provide, because it's unsustainable. What we're providing with you guys now out there with this free content, it's just to be honest with you, it's just practice for me for podcasting services. The other is helping the industry out, so that way we all could eat. We all could make the 6 figures if we want to, or even 7 figures if we wanted to. Use this library as a teaching mode for you, and then possibly just give us credit. Hey, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Sherry, for the tip. While we're sitting here in an empty room, like
Dave is literally sitting on his Pelican case.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on the floor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a cost for Sherry and I, because we're taking out the time to give you valuable content. We want to help content creators out there because we know the struggle is real. Obviously, if we're sitting in the middle of an empty room, it is important to have the content, but there's a certain extent to it. You're just basically copying off a full-time filmmaker just so that way you could make a quick buck because you haven't found your niche. It would be different if you were doing training for painters. Find your niche is what I'm trying to say is don't oversaturate the market. It's the same frustration that I have with the person buying their first Nikon from Best Buy and then all of a sudden they're a photographer without putting in the work of understanding what an f-stop is and what an ISO is and all that stuff. That's what my frustration is. And you're killing people like us trying to make a living off of our services. Start from the bottom to the top. We don't want to go from the top all the way to the bottom. Let's help each other out is the big point. And we'll talk more about that after this break.
Sherry Elisa Photography specializes in beautifully styled modern portrait photography, offering professional in-studio photography services to all of Southwest Florida. Push creativity to the next level. Create custom themes that will complement every personality and style. On-site professional hair and makeup is also available. Our studio is conveniently located off US 41 and Boy Scout Drive, next door to the Sam's Club Plaza. Book your spot now with SherryElisaPhotography.com.
And we are back, and we are literally eating off of each other. But no, in a serious note, the whole reason why I talked about this subject is because instead of focusing on your business, why are you taking other business ideas and pawning it off as yourself? That's going to hurt the market. That's the big thing, is you're hurting the market.
What if you have like other content creators that do feed off of you, and they just kind of take all of your like ideas and twist it and use it for their own?
Right. You would feel horrible if you came up with your own idea and somebody else comes along and just be like, oh, that's how she does it? Yeah. I'm going to buy the same everything or whatnot, and then undercut her and do the same services for only, $4.99.
It's like
you're only hurting yourself.
It's like that one friend that you had in school growing up that was always trying to one-up you.
Exactly.
Why am I still getting hate?
I am tired of the one-uppers,
Yeah.
When it's enough is my point. Stop taking other content creators' ideas as your own. Create your own original idea. Because the whole point of people like Full-Time Filmmaker or FlashFilm Academy is to teach other content creators to get to that level of the six figures and making a living off of it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of beating that starving artist that constantly has to try to keep up with the Joneses. Just the other day, young kid comes in the studio and is wanting work. He's driving around in like a $60,000 vehicle. I think
Is this to your studio?
Yeah, a Mercedes Benz. He wants to be an intern, and he's doing video photography and all that stuff. Daddy taking care of little Johnny. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of those types of people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like making it big where people like us struggle.
Right.
You know?
Like they could buy any piece of equipment that
Absolutely.
they want.
And that my point is that it's not a bad thing that your parents bought you whatever. The bad thing is that you don't learn to value those types of things.
Right, and you have to put in the work. So
right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with, all right, so they come from money, but you have to be willing to put the work in. You can't just be like, I want to be an intern and expect to be right at the top.
Absolutely.
Like you still have to start at the bottom. I don't care how much money your daddy has.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Turn respect. We've been preaching this is just respecting each other. We just had a show with a friend of mine, Mark Myers, that he was here, and I was freaking humble to have him here because I know how busy he is. But the thing is that like his story is it resonates with me so much because like it mirrors kind of like what I've kind of went through. Bringing in that other person outside and kind of like mentoring that other person, that was awesome. But my point is just like, you have to be out there doing the work instead of like sitting there watching YouTube videos or content. Right. You'll never know how it really is without getting literally your feet wet.
Right.
you know?
That applies to any industry. Like look at like tattooing, for example. It's extremely difficult to get any kind of like apprenticeship. You have to like prove your worth. That means you come in early, first one in, last one out. You're sweeping floors, you're getting coffee, you're, on your knees kissing their toes, like anything that you need to do. because you need to learn everything.
Right.
You don't just automatically start tattooing.
And that was the good point that Mark was saying, that he basically said, and we didn't even coach him. He basically said what we've been saying since episode 1. You got to shadow. You got to earn your way to the top, really.
Like with me, like I was just kind of thrown into it when I started at that job that we used to work at together.
Yeah.
Didn't really, I guess I got to shadow. I mean, depending who was there. But I think when you're thrown into it and you just kind of have to learn how everything works.
But you know what? You were thrown into that particular niche.
Right.
You know, it's finding the niche and sticking with it.
And
so
I liked
you already
it.
know. Absolutely. I love that niche. The problem was the person running the ship was a total, you know what I'm saying? You know, a total.
It was like an ass pirate.
Exactly. Exactly. But you know what? We've learned from people like that, so that way we're not going to make the same mistakes next venture. Right. And now, you know, you've taken that education. Now you're applying it to another company. But without that, you wouldn't know whether you're making a mistake or not.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
My point is, we got to all help each other out in some way or another, whether it's recommending other people or you can't make it on your own. I'm sorry to say it, but you can't.
And it's so competitive. It's like, I just feel like, especially where we are, people just don't want to work together. They want to work against each other.
It could be a good thing or a bad thing. You look at it as the glass half full and half empty. Half full is, you know, oh, this is great. It's, you know, like this is the opportunity that's growing and all that stuff. And we could possibly, you know, make money on the side. And I'd love to do this. The half empty glass is the person that, you know, has been doing this industry for years. And then all of a sudden he or she cannot charge what he or she used to do. And now we're sitting on the floor. we're sitting on the floor and not having any chairs. But my point is like I've ran into you're not the only case. I've ran into so many other cases where there's a lot of production companies that have closed because either A, they're not evolving, they have old school mentalities, or B, they're competing against the kid that came from the university and has a Canon T2i, you know, or a low grade camera, and wants to shoot wedding videos and all these things. You got to start somewhere. Right. There's no doubt about it. But what I've always said is shadow or intern with companies so that you understand the industry and you have respect for the industry. So that way you're not changing. You're not changing prices because we're all struggling. When you grow up and you want to have kids or you want to start a family or you want to pay that mortgage or whatever, you're never going to grow if you're competing against each other. Stop eating each other. Yeah. It is the point that I'm trying to make is like focus on your niche. Focus on making money. Here's the thing that I've heard. Not necessarily the talent, it's skill. And with skill, you have to build, right?
Right.
It's not just buying the camera. It's also there's other levels than just pointing and shooting. Yep, and pray.
Yeah.
Spray and pray.
Point, shoot, and pray.
Spray and pray. But I'm gonna make a list of the 3 recommendations coming up right now. Number 1. Is it too late to start on YouTube? Update by Think Media. Number 2, are you really ready for the big client? From FlashFilm Academy, Mr. Ty Turner himself. Number 3, the one big mistake every video production company makes. And this is by Filmmaking Mentor. Check those out. So what's the point of the show?
Don't eat other people.
Yes, absolutely. Stop eating other people. Come up with your own recipe and stick with that recipe until you perfect it. You're not going to get it right the first time. Practice, 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 and have respect for other people's work. Don't duplicate other people's work.
That's good. I like that.
And with that, that is BTS Raw Chats, another episode.